Hi there, my name is Meyer, and this year I will be focusing my research on video game development. So to start off, when I was speaking with my interviewee, we were discussing the importance of the C++ programming language. What I was told was that C++ is pretty much ubiquitous across the game development industry. C++ is a language that provides enough control over things, including resource management, that will be very important to programmers, but it will also include enough built-in functions for programmers to use to speed up their workflow. What I was also told was that ease of use is a very important factor when choosing which game engine to use. So a game engine is software that will work to assemble your video game. It will add together elements including code, 3D models, animations, and textures. So ease of use is an important factor when choosing your game engine because new users need to quickly surpass the steep learning curve. New users need to quickly learn all the features of the engine so that they can utilize it to its fullest capabilities. Experienced developers also need great ease of use in the engine because they need to be able to prototype and release their games as fast as possible. So when I was speaking with my mentor, he told me something surprising. The Unreal Engine 4, which is an engine created by Epic Games, is free to use and it's very popular among the amateur development community. What he told me is that Unreal Engine 4 is actually open sourced. So what that means is that anybody can open up the engine and they can see all the code that makes up the engine itself. Anybody can make their own code revisions and improvements upon the software, and they can actually submit their changes to the code to Epic Games for review. If Epic Games likes what they see, they may choose to incorporate the revisions into the next iteration of the engine itself. So when Unreal Engine 4 next updates, it will actually include many people's code revisions. So this year, one element of Unreal Engine that I would like to improve upon is the particle system. So particle effects are a form of visual effects used to create things such as sparks, rocket trails, vaporization effects, and the most commonly known particle effect would be explosions. So when creating particle effects, it can be difficult for new developers to get the hang of them because particle effects incorporate so many variables when designing these effects, including things such as the color of the particles, the emission speed and direction, and the emission shape, and many more variables. So what I would work on doing this year is improving the user interface of the engine and really be able to improve upon the ease of use for new developers so that they can hit the ground running with the particle effects system. So some obstacles that I might face this year when working on this project is that I have to learn the C++ syntax. So what that means is I need to basically learn the vocabulary used when programming in C++. I only have experience with Java and C#, so I'll need to adapt what I know to be able to be used in C++. I'll also need to learn about game engine structure. I'll need to learn how the engine code is structured. I'll need to know where to look for things. So Unreal Engine 4 also has its own code style. Because it's open source and because people are going to be editing it all the time, it has a certain format that everybody needs to adhere to when they're making changes to the code and they're going to submit them. Lastly, I also need to be able to locate the code that I'm going to alter. Because Unreal Engine is so big and it's so widely used, there are thousands of lines of code that make up this application. So I'll need to be able to comb through it and pick out which lines of code I need to change. So lastly, my mentor will play an important role this year as I'm working on this project. My mentor will provide me with suggestions on where to go next in my project and what else I can improve on throughout the year. My mentor will also provide me with resources for learning things. I need to learn C++ this year. I need to learn how to use GitHub, which is an online database where people can submit their code. And if I'm going to submit my code to Epic Games for review, I need to learn how to use GitHub. Lastly, I need to learn the Unreal Engine code architecture. I'll need to know where to look for the code that I'm going to change. So that's where my project currently stands this year. I hope you appreciate it as much as I do. I'll be working very hard on it throughout the year, and please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Thank you very much for watching.